In this chapter and in several upcoming chapters, I discuss video and audio effects. Effects are things you apply directly to a clip to change the way a clip looks or sounds. In this lesson, I want to point out the differences between the CS6 version of Premiere Pro and the Creative Cloud version of Premiere Pro, because most of the lessons that I recorded using the CS6 version. The thing is, the differences between the two are minimal, but there is one little feature in the Creative Cloud version that I want to show you that you might not even notice, and that really doesn't make any difference in how you do your work, but it's just kind of a clever feature and I want to point it out to you. So let's just take a look at the CS6 version over here. I've got this clip here inside the sequence on this timeline, and over here you see this little drop-down list that has effects in it. These are called fixed effects, and all video clips have these three fixed effects on them in neutral, doing nothing until you change them. And normally you don't access them here, because accessing video effects here inside the timeline is pretty cumbersome. But if you click on the clip, you make those effects active up here in the Effect Controls panel, and there are those three. Same is true for audio, but you can't see that drop-down list here until you expand the view. Then there it is. There are those three, and there they are here. Now that's how you access them here, and you will access the volume level property here on a regular basis when you work with audio in the timeline. But these guys up here you probably won't. But nevertheless, that's how you access them through this drop-down list. Over here on the Creative Cloud side of things, it's a little different. You've got these little buttons that do the same thing as this drop-down list. I'll click the button, and there are those three effects that show up inside the Effect Controls panel when you click on the clip to show it up here. Click on this button, and there are the three effects that show up on the audio side of things. And here, accessing those buttons is much easier than over here. Here you had to expand the view. Here the button is visible whether you expand it or not. Okay, so that's the main difference between the two products. But the little extra thing that I want to point out here is this FX button and how it behaves when you make a change to an effect or add an effect to the clip. It's really kind of clever. So I'll click on this to make it active. And there are the effects showing up here in the Effect Controls panel. If I change a fixed effect, watch what happens to this button. I'm going to open up the motion effect. I'm going to change the position slightly. And notice that it turns yellow. When you change a fixed effect, when you change the property of a fixed effect, this little button turns yellow. Same thing is true when you change a fixed effect for the audio side of things. I'll scroll down to volume here, go to level and change it a bit, and notice it turns yellow. So whenever you changed a fixed effect property, the color changes to yellow. Now I'm going to undo that by doing Control-Command-Z a couple times. Those go away. Now I'm going to add an effect to this clip. So I'm going to go over here to Effects, click on that, and go to Video Effects. I'll go to Blur. I'll add what's called a fast blur to this clip, just by dragging it over like that. And notice the color of the little box now. It turns purple. When you add an effect like this, rather than a fixed effect, it turns purple. I'll do the same thing for the guy down here. I'll go back up here, go to Audio Effects, and I'll drag over, let's say, Delay, something like that, to the audio side of things. And it too turns purple. All right, so it's purple when you add an effect, it's yellow when you change a fixed effect, and then what happens if you change a fixed effect and have an effect applied? I'll do that now. I'll change motion here, change the position a little bit, and it turns green, just so you know. It's green when you've changed the property of a fixed effect and applied an effect. It's yellow when you've changed it and not applied effect, and it's purple when you've applied effect but not changed it. I'll go down here to the bottom here and change the audio. I just think this is so cool that they did this. I don't think they've even documented it, but there it is. I just changed this little volume level there, and it turned green. Just be aware the main differences between the two are that you have these buttons here rather than these drop-down lists. You probably won't access the buttons in the video side of things because it's really cumbersome to do that. It's much easier up here. But you'll probably access the buttons down here in the audio side of things when you change volume levels, and I cover that in great detail in upcoming lessons.